Formula One has seen lots of fathers and sons over the years, and many times relatives make it to Formula One, but are they as good? I thought we'd go over all of the family connections from drivers that have made it into Formula One. Of course, we know the Schumachers, namely Michael Schumacher, one of the most known F1 drivers of all time. He needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway, as a 7-time world champion and Ferrari legend. He also had a son that made it into Formula One, Mick Schumacher. Sadly, for Mick Schumacher, he wasn't quite as successful as his father, and he was eventually dropped by Hadz, became a Mercedes test driver. He's now racing in the WEC for Alpine. But also Michael's brother Ralph was in Formula One, racing for Jordan, Williams and Toyota. They raced in Formula One at the same time period, a true racing family. Ayrton Senna is one of the most known Formula One legends, but he's also known as one of the fastest drivers the sport has ever known. A raw talent that had speed others simply couldn't match. It's always going to be hard to live up to the Senna name, but ultimately, Bruno Senna would not match his uncle's speed when he entered the sport in the early 2000s. He was dropped in 2012 in favour of a little-known Finnish driver called Valtteri Bottas. I would be very surprised if the Versatpen name wasn't well known among all of you watching this video, but would it be for 3-time world champion and lightning-quick driver Max, or perhaps for his father, Jos? Yeah, it's for Max. Jos Verstappen opened the door for his son racing in Formula One in the early 90s and 2000s. He had 106 starts, but only 2 podiums and no wins. He was eventually replaced by Johnny Herbert, so Benetton would have a chance of winning the Constructors' Championship that year, but it wasn't meant to be. Oh, and did I mention Verstappen's teammate at the time at Benetton was none other than Michael Schumacher, who also went on to win the title in '94, a tough benchmark for anyone. If you watch the UK Formula One broadcast, you're probably going to be familiar with Damon Hill, and if you're my age, you're definitely going to be familiar with the British World Champion, having won the title in 1996. What you may not know, though, is that Damon is the son of double world champion Graham Hill, who won the title in 1962 and 68. He also finished runner-up 3 times, and what's more impressive about Graham Hill is that his success is not limited to F1. He won the driver's title twice, sure, but he also won the Monaco Grand Prix 5 times and the Indy 500 and Le Mans 24 Hours, making him a Triple Crown winner, an achievement not many drivers will ever achieve. Damon and Graham are one of 2 father and son combos to both win world titles in Formula One. The next one is the Rosbergs. Niko Rosberg had a very tough battle with his Mercedes teammate Lewis Hamilton for many years, but in 2016 he eventually triumphed and then instantly retired. He did speak about how much it took out of him competing against Hamilton to win that title. Niko, just like Damon, followed in his father's footsteps. Keke Rosberg won the championship in 1982 against big names like Lauda, Prost and Piquet. The Villeneuve name is one that is very well known in Formula One, with both names holding a lot of weight. Gilles Villeneuve and his son Jacques Villeneuve. Gilles Villeneuve was regarded as one of the best drivers of his time, but he never won a world title. He sadly passed away at the Belgian Grand Prix in 1982. In 1996, his son Jacques joined the sport with Williams. He stayed in the sport for 10 years, racing for BAR, Renault and Sauber alongside Williams, with who he won the world title in 1997. Jacques has also won the IndyCar, or Kart Championship as it was known, in 1995 and the Indy 500. So within 2 years, he had won the IndyCar equivalent and the Formula One title. That's impressive. Kevin Magnussen is a big character in the F1 paddock, especially within the Haas team. What you might not know is that Kevin is actually following in his father Jan's footsteps. Jan Magnussen competed in Formula One for 3 seasons from 1995 to 1998, racing for McLaren and Stewart. For McLaren, he only took part in 1 race, replacing an injured Mika Hakkinen, but the following year he had a full-time race seat at Stewart. But he retired no less than 15 times that season, and it was only halfway through the following year that he got his first and last point at the Canadian Grand Prix, being replaced by Jos Verstappen for the rest of the season. 3-time world champion Nelson Piquet raced for McLaren, Brabham, Williams, Lotus, Benetton and Ensign during his 13-year career. He started a whopping 204 times with 23 wins and 60 podiums. He certainly has had some controversy since then, though, with some unsavoury derogatory comments. But his son is not so unfamiliar with controversy either. You may remember the Singapore scandal, whereby Renault requested that Nelson Piquet Jr. crash his car to bring out a safety car that would give his teammate Fernando Alonso an advantage. It wasn't actually called the Singapore scandal, but it should have been. It sounds better than Crashgate. He only had 2 seasons in Formula 1, and his reputation was definitely affected when the story about the Singapore incident came out after he'd left the team. Some special mentions now. They're not F1 associations, but there's plenty of family ties in motorsport. Carlos Sainz has a very famous father, for instance, that you may know. Multiple Rally World Championship winner and multiple Dakar Rally winner, Carlos Sainz. They use senior and junior to differentiate between them. Charles Leclerc also has a younger brother trying to make their way to Formula 1. Arthur Leclerc was last seen competing for Dams in Formula 2 last year, where he sadly finished a lowly 15th. This year, though, he's not in Formula 2. He is part of the Ferrari Junior program, or Academy, and he is going to be getting tests in a Ferrari, but this year he's racing for Ferrari in GT3. Lewis Hamilton's brother, Nicholas Hamilton, also races in British touring cars, which is made even more impressive considering the fact that he races with a specially modified car due to his cerebral palsy. He's made his own way in motorsport and chose not to take any financial aid from his brother. He chose to run his own course and get there on his own merits, but they are close. And there we have it. If I've missed any of the family connections that you can think of, let me know in the comments below. Mostly father and son combos, with some sons outshining their fathers, but mostly the other way around. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.